Okay, third grade. Today we are going to work on the comprehension test practice worksheet that you may or may not have had in your packet. So you are going to not only need your worksheet and a pencil, but you're also going to need to have your Oliver K. Woodman. Now, you can either log into your Think Central to get your book, or remember you do have a copy that was sent in your packet. So remember, when we do the comprehension, we have to go back in and find the text evidence, which I have actually done, and I pulled out the pages. So for number one, what did Tamika ask her uncle to do in her first letter? Her very first letter, what did she ask of her uncle? So I said, looking on page 274, okay, it's talking about, dear Uncle Ray, please come visit us this summer. Right there. What did she ask her uncle? It tells you right here. Please come visit us this summer. She wants her Uncle Ray to come visit her. So, for number one, Tamika asked her uncle to come visit her this summer. Now, number two is a little different because it says, how do you think Tamika felt about her Uncle Ray? Now, when it says you think, that's your opinion, right? But we have to base our opinion off of what we know from the story. So going back to her letter, it talks about, please come visit us this summer. We will go camping. We can swim and catch fish. You are my favorite uncle. Please say you will come. So we have to figure out, based on the clues that Tamika gave us in her letter, how do you think she feels about her uncle? Well, one, she wants him to come visit, but she also gives us a clue when she says, you are my favorite uncle. So yes, it's your opinion, but we got to have an opinion from the information that's given. So it's up to you how you write it, because remember, it's how do you think Tamika feels about her uncle. But I really do think she likes her uncle because she does call him her favorite uncle. So you have to come up with your answer for number two because it's your opinion. Number three, what did Uncle Ray do before he put Oliver on the side of the road? Okay, so right before, yes, he had to build Oliver, right? So we're going to go to page 276. What did he do right before? Yes, he built on page 275, but 276. What did he do right before he set him on the side, right? He wrote a what? This whole page. He just didn't set Oliver on the road and left, right? He wrote a letter to the traveler, right? To anyone that's going to pick up Oliver K. Woodman, right? He wrote a letter to the traveler saying, give me a ride. Here's where I need to go. If you don't mind, drop a note to my friend, Raymond Johnson, right? To know kind of where I am. So for number three, what did Uncle Ray do before he put Oliver on the side of the road? Uncle Ray wrote a letter to the traveler before he put Oliver on the side of the road. Because otherwise, if you didn't have a letter, would anyone know what to do with Oliver? I don't think so. They wouldn't have any. They wouldn't know. Number four, who was the first person to give Oliver a ride? Well, so far, he's just on the side of the road. Let's go one more page. Okay, this letter's talking. It is Tamika, right? She got Uncle Ray's letter saying that Oliver's on his way. Here is the first person that gave him his ride, and this letter is from Jackson McTavish. Remember, he rode in the back of Jackson's truck with Bert the Bull. So I can't just write Jackson McTavish. That's not a third grade sentence, right? So I'm going to use a third grade sentence and say Jackson McTavish was the first person to give Oliver a ride. Okay, remember, you had to have a subject and a predicate. My subject is Jackson McTavish, and what did he do? He was the first person to give Oliver a ride. Number 5, what happened after Oliver visited Cherry. Okay, so after, remember, that's the one where they went to play a baseball game right at the Pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. This letter's kind of interesting, right? They brought Mr. OK back. Okay, Mr. OK is okay. Mr. OK, who's OK? Oliver K, right? So it kind of has a slang going on in this letter. Instead of calling him Oliver, they call him Mr. OK. So after Sherry, right? Or Cherry. So he hung out with us for a couple of days, and all the girls liked him better than Quinn. So when Quinn's cousin's boyfriend's aunt was leaving to visit her sick grandfather in Fort Smith, Arkansas, the guys loaded Mr. OK into the aunt's station wagon and sent him on his way. So he stayed with them a few days, but after he was with them, he was loaded up into Quinn's cousin's boyfriend's aunt station wagon. Whew, that's a lot of Quinn's cousin's boyfriend's aunt. That's a lot to keep straight there. So what happened to Oliver, right? Oliver was given a ride, and this is where my text evidence comes in, was given a ride by Quinn's cousin's boyfriend's aunt. Whew. And I got that right from the book, right? That's exactly what he did. Now, number 6 and 7 is a little different because 6 and 7 are talking about formal and informal sounding letter. And so I'm actually going to kind of review that right now with you guys, or introduce it, because we haven't gotten to talk about it yet. Informal language may contain slang, shorter words, sounds like the person is talking, like talking to a friend. Example, hey, or even like when you guys are texting and stuff, like LOL. Formal language, longer forms of words like talking to a teacher or principal. Example, it was a pleasure to meet you. When you're texting, you're not going to write LOL. You would actually write laugh out loud. Okay, so informal would be LOL, but formal language, you'd actually write out laugh out loud, which most of us do informal when we're texting. So thinking about this with Oliver's, all of his travels with the letters and everything, who had the most formal sounding letter? The formal one, right? So I'm thinking it's definitely not Jerry, right? Because she called Mr. OK is okay. So that's definitely not formal. Okay. Bobby Joe, he didn't do too bad, right? Kind of a typical letter. Let's see here. This is from Uncle Ray. That's Tamika. Not them. We're talking about the travelers. Melissa, pretty normal, right? Letter. So now we're kind of have a couple people. The sisters, pretty normal. The Claremont sisters, kind of like how they signed it. Okay, but this is the one I really want to take a look at. Look how it's addressed. July 28th, to Raymond Johnson. Kind of like that means who it's like, what it's about. Mr. Oliver K. Woodman. Not even Oliver K. Woodman, but Mr. And also take a look at how they sign it. Gratefully yours, Bernard Grape, and who he does. He's an attorney at law. So I would say that Bernard Grape has the most formal sounding letter. Okay, talking about, like I thought, was a misguided goodwill gesture. Okay, he's kind of using some bigger words, just kind of how he ends his letter. So for number 6, and I can't just say Bernard Grape, I would say Bernard Grape wrote the most formal sounding letter. Now we got to go the opposite way. Who wrote the most informal one? And that should be an easy one because there's only one letter that didn't even call him Oliver, right? They called him Mr. OK. What? Okay, that's like slang. So going back and finding, who was that? That was Cherry, right? She's the one that had the most informal letter. Okay, she didn't Mr. OK, she did abbreviations, but his name is not OK. It's not Mr. OK, it's Oliver. So for number 7, I'm going to put Cherry wrote the most informal sounding letter. So that is the comprehension test practice questions 1 through 7. Remember, you can always go back through the video, pause it. Okay, now remember, I didn't go over number 2, or I didn't give you the answer to number 2 because it's your opinion. But remember, it's your opinion based on the information that's given. And I'm pretty sure Tamika liked her Uncle Ray because she wanted him to come visit, and she called him his favorite uncle.